All right, welcome everyone to Road Trippin', and in this episode we are talking about RVs.
That's right.
This is our second passion, right?
Yeah,
we got
what's
Disney,
the first? Oh.
We got Disney, but we sometimes put the two together.
We always put the two together.
Camping at
fort.
Disney. That's
yes.
right. Okay, in this video though, what I wanted to do is just go over 5 quick things, only because we can make this video 10 hours straight. There's so much to talk about when dealing with an RV, but we're hoping that this is just basically our opinion. We were just hoping that this would help somebody.
Things maybe you haven't thought of.
All right, just for a little background, if you're new, we've had tents, pop-ups, campers, Class Bs,
Volkswagen
camper, Class Cs, Class As, diesel, gas, and
the only thing we haven't had is a pull behind or a fifth wheel.
Fifth wheel, yep. And so we do have experience, and yes, we've learned quite a bit along the way on things we'd probably do differently. And like I said, this is going to be 5, so you're going to have to stay tuned. Leave your comments down in the comments.
Yep.
Yeah, leave some comments down in the comment section on what you maybe want to talk about or want to know about RVs, or you know, maybe you have suggestions for the next RV video, because I plan on doing one of these
maybe once a month
or something like that, to maybe answer your questions on our experience. Okay, so for the first one, what are you using it for? That's a good question, I think.
Yeah, you should ask yourself that when you're thinking of
what are your plans? What are you going to use it for? And what I mean by that is, we all know you're going to use it for camping, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But what kind of camping are you going to do? Are you going to just go out on the weekend and have fun?
Mm-hmm. You're going to have... Do you need hookups? Are you going to be at a resort or a campground that has it? Or are you going to dry camp in it?
Yes. And don't get me wrong, guys. You can pretty much dry camp in anything. We've done it. We've done it in no slides. We've done it in smaller campers.
Yes.
Pop-ups with no bathrooms. Anything's possible. Anything's doable. But what I'm trying to get to is, are you going to go cross-country?
That's right.
Are you going to go 6,500 miles round trip like we did in 2 weeks? I mean, are you... and we don't do that too often, but we do it. We on the spur.
Not on 2 weeks. Like, not for 2 weeks.
You know, and another thing too. Down here in Florida, we have hurricanes. Mm-hmm. It's always good for us to have our RV with us all the time, and we do. And speaking of that, we keep it fully stocked and ready to go, like clothes and everything else like that.
Except for food.
Except for food. But what are you using it for? I mean, are you going to need a bunch of storage? Are you going to need maybe a bigger fuel tank? Or, you know, if you need it just for the weekend, you're pretty much, you don't really need to think too much into it, is what I'm saying. Look towards the future, though, because you may think about, you may need something a little bit bigger or something. You might get hooked off the first time you camp. So we loved it, and we still do love it. And we don't see ourselves ending it anytime soon. No. Secondly, which is the kind of same thing we're talking about, what are you using it for? Layouts are very important.
The layout and the slides.
And it could be, you know, it's just not the layout in the inside. It's a layout on the outside also. In our family, we typically have an issue with counter space inside.
In the kitchen.
And it's only 3 of us. But it gets really, really crowded. If we're outside, we barbecue, we like nature, we like to sit outside and eat, but sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's cold, or whichever location you are, or it's just too hot to eat outside. We will grill and bring it in, and we typically do not have a lot of counter space in our RV. So also, when it comes to layout, think about your storage. If you are one of them people that, if you have slides, okay, which a lot of people do, we've had some with no slides, we've had some with 1 slide, we have some with 2 slides. That's our maximum that we've had. Yeah, we've had any more than 2 slides. But I can tell you, the ones that we had with slides, I wished that the storage would have came out with the slide.
Yes.
For me, that's kind of like very important. Now you do have some that have full basements in them, which basically goes all the way through to the other side. In that case, you're probably more than likely not going to have your slide with the storage already attached to it. For us, I wouldn't see any reason for that pass through. I would definitely, if it's just your normal Class A, slides on it, then I would want the slide to come out with the storage. If you can figure that you're just going to have to go up underneath the slide and open up the door, and you're going to try to finagle whatever you got underneath there, and then you're going to have to walk back out, maybe possibly hit your head like I have about 5 or 6 times. I see people with fun
noodles there. That's a good thing to do, put a fun noodle.
That's kind of like one of the reasons to have the slide come out with your storage. But like I said, not all the time is that possible. Let's go to number 3. As far as like comfort. Comfort's a big deal. For me it is. We have the Class C now. So when we were driving 700 miles a day in a Class C, it's a little bit tight.
Yeah, especially your legs are long.
Little bit. I'm only, what, 5'11"?
Yeah.
Okay, 5'11".
Maybe 5'10".
Okay, 5'10". For me, when I was driving that, because, we were on a time schedule, but we traveled a long way.
South Dakota to California, through Texas, back home, Florida.
Yeah, so the 6,500 miles in 2 weeks, plus the time we spent over at Disneyland and in South Dakota, it gave us very little time, so we were pushing roughly 700 miles a day. And I could tell you within them 700 miles, it was very, very tight. You couldn't stretch your legs out too good, and it could have been better for the driver.
And Class C. For
sure, and the Class C. So think about that. You got your Class Bs, you got your Class Cs. It's the same situation in your driving situation, but not everybody's situation is the same. You only may drive 100 miles a day or whatever, and you're perfectly fine. You get to stretch your legs and everything. We are not full-time RVers, so
someday
we have to get to where we need to get to and back, so it's a little bit different for our situation. The Class A for us, where you could stretch your legs out, and we can go over a whole different thing on Class A versus Class C, and they definitely both got their pros and cons to them. So comfort for us is a big deal for us because of the fact that the traveling, the distances.
When we do go long distances, even for me, I'm only 4'11", and sitting in the passenger side of the Class C, it's even pretty tight for me, and I'm, like I said, I'm only 4'11". Yeah. And even, I mean, I could stretch my legs, but it's not as comfortable as even the Class A.
Even the seats in a Class C, Class B typically are not as comfortable as they are in a Class A.
Unless they have like leather, or they have like really nicer interior.
Really good interior. But if it was me, I think with the next one that we'll be looking into, we're thinking about keeping the next one long term. And we're definitely going to have to add to whatever we get, because you're never, unless you get it custom built,
and even then,
and everything else like that, you're going to find something you're going to want to change, or you want to add something. I think for the most part with us, we definitely want to get solar because we love national parks. We definitely want to be able to boondock or dry camp for a longer amount of time, which means bigger holding tanks. Water is another situation. I think we only got 55 gallons of water. Have we made it work? Absolutely, you can do it, but you got to remember how to just be very cautious.
We can do tips on that too, on how we went cross country with a Class C all the way to California.
All right, now that particular trip, guys, we hardly stopped at all as far as
staying at resorts
and everything. We saved so much money by doing that and learning how to just our water situation, and we still took showers.
Yeah, we took showers.
We just took what they call Navy showers.
Yep.
It's like a quick, you're in, you're out, you get your business done, and it's not like you're hooked up at a resort.
But we'll do tips on that too.
Yeah, like I said, guys, we could go for hours and hours. We got a lot of good tips in this noggin of ours, and I'm telling you, we were just talking about hot water heat, right? Mm-hmm. And I just added in one of our videos the electric side, because not all RVs have electric and gas for hot water.
Yep.
And it's very, very important for us because it's gonna recoup the hot water faster, right? It's also gonna stay hot longer because you can have propane and electric on at the same time. It's just for us. Believe me, it is a change. It's a game changer for us to have that. So that's important for us on our next RV to make sure that has that. But getting back to the comfort, like I said, there's always pros and cons. We're not knocking Class C's.
No, we have it. We have a Class C.
There's certain things on a Class C, like the overhang, that's good for sun and rain. But with the Class A, you got the big picture, which is really nice too. So it's all up to you guys. We're just throwing the options out there.
Food for thought.
Okay, let's go with number, what was it, 4 we're on?
Yep.
And this, I've just personally learned on this last RV we had, an LP location. Your propane tank, the location. And I've always had the propane tank on the passenger side. This is the first RV I've ever had it on the driver's side, up towards the front. Now I'm sure some of you out there watching that, if you've had RVs, you probably say, oh yeah, Scott, I've had that on that side too. But what threw me off about it is that if you wanted to add an extended stay to it, your dump is on that side. So if you're hooked up on that side, I don't think you're going to want to like cook out there. You don't have an awning or anything. I'm looking more of adding a hose to a barbecue grill on the outside. We haven't done it to this one, but I'm saying if we wanted to do it, you'd have to run a hose from the driver's side underneath to the other side all the time, instead of just being able to stow it right there on the passenger side. Take it out when you need it real quick. Efficient is what we're looking for when we're disconnecting and hooking up and stuff like that. We're pretty darn efficient.
We are pretty efficient on
when we do it. But with the tank being on that side, sometimes I've even had trouble even filling it because it's on the opposite side of where most of them are, on the passenger side. Like I said, on that situation, I'm sure most of you guys noticed that if you had them on that side, you're like, Scott, I've always had them on that side, but I've never had it on that side.
Something to think about.
It kind of, see, we're still learning. After 20 years, we're still learning.
Every day.
Always learning something. Okay, let's get to the last one, number 5, and that is a spare tire. Most of us don't think about that. Most of the ones we've had have had spare tires, but we have had a couple Class A's. And for the most part, over 20 years, guys, we really haven't had that bad of luck.
No, we've had, what, 1 flat?
We've had 2 flats in 20 years. The spare tire, like I said, we've had flats on some that didn't have.
We had a flat on the A, and we had a flat on which other one?
The C. We had a flat on the C.
We did?
Tires are very important, guys. When you're looking at tires, we could go over the whole tire situation. But for us, we're very, very safe on our tires. We use ours a lot.
We
really
use
do.
them.
I don't
they don't
sit
get
there.
Flat spots.
I cover it. I cover it in this Florida sun. I make sure. But if there's any sign of any damage or anything like that, I just replace it. I don't play around with it. You know, with my family, safety is everything to me, and it's really not that big a deal for me to do that. It is costly. Don't get me wrong. It does cost money, and you got to prepare for that. But it's it could cost you more on the highway.
Yeah, your
we
life.
do a lot of highway driving, and if I see anything like that, I just switch it out. But anyway, with the spare, guys, if some of them don't have them, some of them not going to be equipped with them, like the bigger diesels probably not going to have them. But there are Class A's and Class C's out there that all have them. You know, the Bounders have a little compartment in the back, which is really nice. It don't take up any of your storage. I'm not advertising for them or anything. It's just my parents have one. We're all in an RV type of family, and they just purchased a Bounder that has it. It's a little older one. It's not a brand new one. And it's just quicker. If you call the tow truck out there or something from your insurance company, whoever you got coverage through, Good Sam, whatever, they'll come out there. You already have your spare. They'll pop it on. You're good to go. For us, it took the guy a while to get out there, and he had the hand put on. He was very fast, by the way.
Yeah, he was really good.
But they do charge you a lot more money for that tire than if you would have a spare on there ready to go.
Then they just put your tire on there.
Also, in our case with the C, it's a lot. I'm still young enough that I'm able to handle that, to be able to put on. So I have everything in the RV completely prepared to change my own tire if I had to. But with the 22.5s, the big tires, I really don't. I probably wouldn't even want to do it or mess with it, and I would just call the man for that. But if you could get a spare, it's always good to have one, and you know,
something you might not think about
in case. A lot more to talk about, guys. We have, you know, is a tow car good, you know, good option? Is it necessary? Gas versus diesel. I'm sure everybody wants to know gas versus diesel. Also jacks. And a very important one that everybody's probably going to want to ask. New versus old.
Yeah.
Should I buy a brand spanking new coach? Or should I buy a used coach? And we got some very, very good tips on that as far as what we would do. So stay tuned for some more RV talk, guys.
How about the inside? Interior too.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot to talk.
Lots of stuff.
Guys, we cannot fit everything RV into one video. It would be
impossible
to do it. There's a lot of options. We just want to give you guys some ideas if you are looking for an RV, what to maybe possibly think about. Now, some of the stuff on your on this list that I came up with may not even bother you a bit, where the LP tank is, or do I have enough counter space, or
do I have a spare?
The comfort. I'm not going to be driving long distances, so the comfort's not going to be a big deal. Yeah, the spare tire, the storage coming out with the slides. Is that actually necessary? Guys, we've done a lot with very minimal stuff. And anything's possible. You can go anywhere you want to go with whatever you got. These are kind of like just different options to maybe make your life a little bit easier when you're on the road. So until then, guys, we hope you enjoyed this little bit of RV talk. We want to do maybe some live streams like that would be good. Maybe we can answer your questions live. That might be a good thing.
That would be all you.
Let us know down below in the comments, guys, if this helped you at all. That's great. That's what we're aiming to do. Hopefully I commentated okay. Sometimes I ramble and go into it, but I can really truly talk to you about everything that's on this, and I hope it helped you guys.
Anybody that's met us knows this.
Yes.
If you have met us, we ramble.
Yes, but I got so much to talk about on this paper. I don't know if I got into great detail, but if you guys got any questions, please down below. I'll do my best to answer them for you. And until the next video, thanks guys for watching.
Thanks. Bye.